Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Sam Kwak here, one of the Kwak Brothers, and appreciate you guys joining us the day after Thanksgiving. Hopefully, you guys had a phenomenal Thanksgiving. I know some states and local areas have locked down where you have to do the Thanksgiving virtually, which I don't know how it works, but hopefully you guys will be able to manage. And I know I've heard a lot of stories, just even yesterday, that a lot of people can't meet with their grandparents or their granddaughters and grandkids because of what's happening with COVID and rising cases, and understandable. So we have a really interesting show for you guys today yet again, and we'll have another conversation. Nick, our producer, is here. Daniel's here. I was hoping that Joel will be here. We'll have
Joel's not here.
Yeah, we'll have a conversation with
Joel.
Joel.
Mining Bitcoin.
with his MacBook. So let's go ahead and hit some things here. So here's the agenda for the show today, and I appreciate you guys, of course, joining us. I know you guys are all busy shopping on Amazon, or maybe you guys are going out. I don't know. Comment down below. Are you guys shopping online this year, or are you going out just like how we've been doing it, or how real Black Friday is? So go and comment your thoughts down below. But here's a rundown. We're going to have some couple news for you guys, a couple updates as far as what's happening to COVID-19 news, politics, as well as the housing market. We'll talk about the election. A lot of interesting things happening in the election. And yes, it does affect, in a way, a little bit as far as the psychology of money. We'll talk about those three things, and we'll kick it off to a conversation. Last week, we had a conversation about China. I should say China. And then we had a conversation about other global economic, and we'll also love to get your feedback on our Great Reset video we released.
That's a lot for one day.
What was that? When did we release that?
That was like what, Nick? How long ago was that?
That was like was that last week Monday?
Let me check right now.
Or was it this Monday?
I got her channel pulled up.
I think it was this Monday.
It's been simmering for a while.
Guys, it was 3 days ago.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
It was wow.
It was Wednesday.
Was it Wednesday?
Yeah, it says 3
I
days
thought
ago.
Wednesday we released the video about me paying.
Oh,
my
you know what?
daughter
No.
$12,000.
It was Monday.
It was Monday, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's already at 10,000 views.
Yeah, seriously.
Doing
Okay, so
really
let's go
well.
hit it off with COVID news. So this will be brief. We're not COVID experts. We're not medical experts. We're here to give you guys a conversation about what does this all mean to the housing market, real estate, making money, keeping more money that you've earned and you've worked hard for. So this week alone, since November 19th, according to New York Times, 79,000 new cases. And it is projecting upwards. We had a little bit of bump down here, but what are you guys' thoughts? There's an article.
I was one of them.
Oh,
I was one of the 79,000.
yeah. So what do you guys think about?
I was in that number.
So apparently, South Korea, which just happens to be our country that we were born in, apparently so I'm picking this country because, well, sure, it's my home country, but I'm picking this country because they have been praised for some of their amazing medical advances and being able to curb the COVID-19 cases. But it just turns out that last Friday, or just even the past couple of days, that their cases have been rising. And it's trending upward right now. What are your guys' thoughts?
Hey,
They locked out
what
like
else needs
they
to
locked
trend
up 14
upwards?
days.
You know what else needs to trend upwards? The like button.
The like
on
button,
this live
that's
stream
right,
now.
the
So
like
you guys
ratio.
You guys need to click like on this live stream right now. Otherwise, Sam's gonna get very unhappy, and he's gonna start talking about, guys, our algorithm's being crushed.
No, you're just gonna ruin my shopping experience today.
That's exactly. Yeah, Sam needs to
that's
buy
exactly what's happening.
more vests. That's what he needs to buy.
Yeah, I don't buy clothes. I just don't buy. And we'll talk
I
about
like
that,
the
actually.
vest.
What you guys don't know, it's actually a bulletproof vest.
No,
You know, in
so
case any globalists come in here.
that's silly. But no, we'll actually talk about that. Next week? We'll talk about the things that we don't buy as successful entrepreneurs. So here's what's happening. Did you guys know that there was a 14-day mandatory quarantine in South Korea? I know we shared it on our video,
Yeah,
but
I did know that. Yeah.
where literally what happens is you land. So if all three of us decide to go to South Korea today, what would happen is they'll drag us into the testing site. It straight out looks like the movie Outbreak. Takes us to a testing site. We get tested, and then we get sent to a government-ran quarantine hotel.
Oh, that's right up my alley.
And then you basically stay in this hotel for 14 days. You can't leave. You're not allowed to leave. If you do attempt to leave, or if you cause some kind of scene, then of course you're not welcome back to the country. That's crazy. It's almost like Singapore level maintenance.
It's like that Tom Hanks movie where he was just stuck in an airport for like 18 years, right?
There's a
Have
movie
you
like
seen
that?
one?
No.
I didn't know there was
Is
a
that the
movie
one
like
with the volleyball and the red paint? and then where he shouts Wilson.
No, that's when he like.
That's Castaway, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a refugee in Greece now.
Okay, so Sunshine Forever said COVID numbers are inflated, and COVID is overly overhyped. All right, so let me comment on it because I had COVID. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I had it. I tested and everything. I got tested positive, and Nick had it too.
Yep.
Right. So for Nick and I, right, I'm gonna wait till Nick gets back on the mic because he's adjusting my camera right now, which is rightfully so.
Yeah, get all the creases and the lines on his face.
I actually got a haircut yesterday, so I'm trying to show this off.
No, it looks really good.
Thanks,
I
man.
can't tell.
Thank you. Dude, how can you not tell? It was like literally down here. Anyways, all right. So Nick and I both had it, and our whole office had it, and then it hit Nick the hardest, and I think I got hit the second hardest because Nick, you couldn't even get out of bed.
No, I was pretty messed up, but then again, I was pretty run down.
Yeah.
You know, if you're run down, I think like it'll affect you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think if I was so tired, like.
Well, I had a nasty fever for 5 days, and it took my body a while to like build the antibodies and fight it off. But for Sam, my wife Lisa, Sam's wife Grace, everybody else here in the office, they had like a mild fever for like a couple days. How long was yours?
Literally 2 days. I'm not even a day. So it was kind of I guess it's a full day because it really didn't start till like the night of Saturday, and it kind of kept lingering the next day. But
right, it wasn't that bad. It was like nowhere.
It's like 5 hours of.
Well, you
fever.
did you lose sense of taste? Smell
I did.
For a little bit, right?
Yeah, I lost sense of taste and smell for like a week straight, and then it bothered me. It was just annoying. It was just really annoying.
Yeah.
And then but I'm back. It's back. It's 100% back. I can taste the coffee. I can taste food.
Well, so I had no loss of scent or taste or smell.
Yeah, which is weird.
I had fever, I had a high fever, but other than that, I had no respiratory issues, no coughs. I still tasted everything. You know what I mean? So I mean, it wasn't as bad as people think. I think what's more frustrating is as both conservatives, liberals, Republicans, Democrats, whether you voted for Trump, whether you voted for Biden, a lot of people I feel like are saying the same things, whether they're the medical professional, whether it's just guys like us who don't, we're apes when it comes to medical stuff, But a lot of people, it just seems they're not, like they recognize that COVID is real, right? They recognize it. Like it is a virus. It's a new virus. I can confirm that because just from sheer experience, right? The fact that it took my body longer to recover because building the antibodies, it recognizes that it's a foreign virus that my body has never seen before. So even I recognize it, my biological response at least. But it seems like everybody's just so frustrated with the rules and the policies. I was talking to a friend of mine who runs a hospital out of San Francisco, and he's been a doctor for over 25, 30 years. And the guy's like, just the rules that the policies that are pushing out is just so dumb. Like it just makes no common sense at all. So I mean, it's weird, man. And for me, it's like great, right? Like it shows that Trump supporters, Biden supporters are all, kind of uniting.
Well, you gotta look at the fact that there's probably more people who had COVID than we could ever actually measure, right? People just don't test. I'll be honest, I didn't go test. I knew Daniel had it, so I'm like, oh, therefore I must have it too. But I think there's far more people who actually have COVID, which is actually good news because that just means that the virus is actually less deadlier. You add more denomination, you add more number to the common denominator, right? The denominator. I mean, the math just says that the virus is less deadly. I think the virus actual number, like people who actually have it, is probably double or triple.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
As far as the actual counted cases.
Yeah, I'm only gonna say probably. Well, if you think about like a household, right? Because think about even people like us, right? I mean, there's what? How many people do we have in the office physically?
Right.
Outside than just our virtual employees, we have like 9 people like here, right? And so like if one of us has it, right, then we all know every single one of us.
Sure.
So no one else is gonna get tested. So I'm willing to bet that number is probably like times 5, times 6, because you're talking about a household, you're talking about offices. One person gets tested positive. It's like, oh, well, I don't need to go get tested. Yeah. Because that person got tested positive.
Yeah, for sure. So that's pretty much as far as what's going on in COVID. Cases are going up, but again, I think this virus is less deadlier than most people think. And that's just my opinion. Again, I'm not a medical expert. Daniel isn't a medical expert, although our parents probably wanted us to become a medical expert.
That's racist.
One way or another. But in all seriousness, guys, that's just what, according to New York Times, that's the data. Okay, let's go to the politics side, which Daniel and I, we're on this fence, right? We're riding on this fence where we're not a political channel. That's not who we are. We are personal finance. We help you at least make more money. But there is some level of how politics impact how you make your decision.
Well,
some level.
Some level. I think you do a really good job at this, right? Now, obviously, Nick, myself, we all mastermind, but I say we go as far as we need to talk about how it affects our finances.
Right, and I mean, I could talk about conspiracy theories and what I really think about certain topics, but that's completely irrelevant to how it can help you make money, right? So here's the news, and this is about Joe Biden. And am I not a fan of Joe Biden? No, I respect his I respect his office if he does become the official president of the United States. Again, there's a lot of lingering thoughts right now. Like Pennsylvania, just they stopped. I think the judge said don't certify the votes yet.
Yeah, there was.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, there was a pretty big hearing the other day.
Yeah,
and that's what they were talking about. So like the state senate of Pennsylvania had some witnesses come on,
right,
and do a Zoom meeting and all this other stuff, just to
I saw part of it. Yeah,
just to share their experiences voting. And I think one of the big things is that when we saw these absentee ballots go in and then people went in to go vote, that's when like the issues were coming. I think there was this elderly woman who was like, I had gone in there to vote and they said I voted already. So I mean there's a lot of discrepancies in a couple of these swing states. So that should be interesting the next couple months.
Well, let's talk about how it affects the housing market, how it affects the economy, because I don't want to get too far into just talking about politics.
Yeah, but I want to get specific here because this is a news directly from CNBC, or this is actually NBC News. CNBC is a little bit smarter version. This is NBC, November 25th. So here's a thought. Joe Biden did come out to promise, or at least has mentioned in the past, that he does have a plan to forgive student loans. And so this is what it says. It says Biden said he would tackle loan forgiveness for public servants, so public employees and public workers, by providing $10,000 of student debt relief for every year of service up to 5 years. That includes working in a school, for a government, or a non-for-profit setting. Student borrowers will be automatically enrolled according to his plan, and previously national or community service would also allow a borrower to qualify. So basically what this means is that if you work for a government entity or the public sector, or you work in a school or a non-for-profit, for every year that you work there, you would qualify for $10,000 of student loan forgiveness. Now, here's the challenge with this, and I want both of you guys' thoughts on this too as well. The challenge, as it stands right now, is that any debt that you are forgiven, like student debt, unless there's other stipulations behind it, if student loan debt is forgiven, then the forgiven amount is also treated as an income. It's treated as taxable income the following year. So if someone were, let's say I have student debt, someone forgive $20,000 of my student debt, all $20,000 will appear on my tax return as income next year, which that may just be enough to set someone off to a whole another tax bracket. So let's talk about the two premises. Biden obviously planning to forgive student loans, and number two, what do you guys think is going to happen with all the people who are getting the loans forgiven, and their taxes are going to be like, it's going to be up to wazoo?
Yeah, Nick, what do you think about that?
Well, as somebody who has outstanding student loans and was a public servant for about 5 years,
no, you weren't a public servant, man. You were an American badass. Don't downplay yourself.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
Thank you for that accolade. But, there's a system in place with the GI Bill and all this other stuff and student loan forgiveness, but it's either one or the other, and that student loan forgiveness thing is really dependent on what you do within the military, right? So at least for public servants, you buy into it. And I know I'm getting off topic with the student loan forgiveness, but I got a point to all this. So when you have everybody buys into this GI Bill thing, right? Yeah. And it's like $100 a month for the first 12 months of service. Now it goes in a big pool of money, and you would hope that you could change that from like even if you have a college degree already to forgiveness, but they don't give you that option. Right? So me being like 40, 50K in debt with student loans before I even joined the military, that would be nice. But if Joe Biden, if he decides to, forgive these loans for public servants, but if not everybody, because I think there's a bigger push for everybody to lose, to get this. It's going to create a huge bubble. And I can't explain it from an economic standpoint, but where's that money? It's like the balance sheet of student loans. Like, are you just going to just kind of take a Sharpie and cross it all out? Like, what's the huge ramifications? And I'd much rather pay it back knowing that I borrowed it than to just kind of have it forgiven.
Well, that's what Kevin. By the way, did you make your point? I want to make sure you get your thoughts.
Yeah, I know that there's always a second part to forgiveness.
Yeah.
And I don't want to participate. I really don't want to participate. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Kevin Schmidt made an interesting comment. He says if you borrow money, you should pay it back. Period. And then he said, last thing we need is more government welfare. We need price discovery. Which, you know what, I would agree with to an extent, right? Because I really think this kind of came from, and I'm not trying to put blame on any one president or anything like that, but when Obama came out and had this big hurrah, he had this big government initiative of hey, we need people going to school, we need people doing this, we need people doing that. Everybody deserves to have the right to get a college education, which I disagree with, right? Because the more you do that, the more you make college just a regular thing, and you can't do that, right? Having a college degree, from what it's supposed to be, right? It's not supposed to be something that everybody has. It's supposed to be something that, hey, this is what you're wanting to do. This is your I think the reason why we have today, where we have people going, hey, I got a 4-year degree in women's studies, and I want to be paid $90,000 a year straight out of college. Like, these people, like, they just have such a ridiculous standard of expectation.
Also, look at the supply and demand. Just thought of this, right? I mean, there's only so many quote unquote jobs that require college education, and most jobs today don't even require. Think about most of the employees in our office, right? Most of I'd say 80% of our employees don't even have a college education. Joel, Angel, and they're amazing. They're great people, right? And stellar workers too.
Yeah.
So there's an interesting thought with supply and demand. I think there's way too many supply right now as college students, and it's just like off the chart.
Well, here's what you're seeing though, is that this is kind of how it affects the job market. Is that, like, I think what you were trying to say is the fact that look at all the jobs right now that are available. Like, look at all the things that people are looking for. Dude, the jobs right now in highest demand, and you can confirm this, Nick.
Okay.
Right? People in the trades.
Ooh.
That's the highest.
Yeah,
people in the trades right now.
If you can make 6 figures,
like,
painter.
oh yeah, I mean, shout out to our friend Alex Sanchez. You know what I mean? The guy's making 6 figures. I mean, the guy was on CNBC working as an electrician. You know what I mean? So there's a big demand right now for people in the trades. Well, guess what, right? Guess why that is? Well, you got to look back 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And our president went, hey guys, everyone deserves to go to college. Everyone deserves to get a college degree, and we're gonna, they're all gonna work in these high-paying jobs and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And yes, and I get what he's going for. Like, he's trying to put more qualified, smarter workers, but you can't do that. It's a value-driven market, the way that United States work.
We really got to push for more trade. There's this disproportionate amount of people leaving the trade right now. Not enough people going.
Well, if you showed me a list, right? If you showed me a list of people, that's the Patrick. If you showed me a list, right? If you showed me a list of the most popular college majors the last 4 or 5 years, I guarantee you that those 4 or 5 majors right now are the most useless jobs in the market. Just because there's too many. There's too many of them. Yeah.
It's the concept where this is so basic and fundamental in the business, but I don't know why it's not in the practical sense of reality. Is you don't go learn a skill that no one wants. Like, you don't like for example, let's take it a step further in a very fundamental way. Like, let's say we're back in the medieval times, right? We go back to the days where you were either a blacksmith, you were a knight, you were some kind of a farmer, right?
Yep.
You don't want to. Okay, first of all, you don't want to learn how to be like I don't know, electric engineer, when there's no electricity, right?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing too. The roles and the jobs were very clear back then. It's not today. I mean, think about Nick, Sam. I mean, think about the amount of people. Look, we're only in our 20s, all of us, right?
I'm 32.
You're 32. Okay, sorry. We're all young. That's what I'm trying to say. We're all in the millennial generation, right? All of us. But think about the amount of people that we know right now, right, that are working at a job they did not get a degree for.
Right.
Think about that.
That's immense, and that's what saddens me now is because a lot of people are like, oh, this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. No, like your career, your thoughts, it can change. And there's a statistics that Americans change their career 7 times in a lifetime on average. That's just on average.
Yeah.
Right. We no longer live in this economy where you work for a company for 40 years, you retire, and the company takes care of you for the rest of your life. We don't live in that economy anymore. People are. I think that rule kind of was thrown away with the corporate culture of like Goldman Sachs, where
that was our parents.
Right, you were getting fired like this. As soon as you were replaceable, you were gone. So you gotta understand, like, in today's economy, you're super replaceable. Your college degree means squat. It's just glitter, poop on glitter. Now, excuse my French, but seriously, like, your college degree, unless you're in academia. Your college degree is squat. It really doesn't translate to the practicality of what goes on in the real world.
No, well, and here I had a discussion with my friend about that. I call him my friend because he's genuinely a friend to me, but he just has a different set of beliefs and values. And but he said something along the lines of that college is still a good investment. And then he pulled out the statistics saying that, well, you know that chart, we've all seen that chart in school, right? Where it's just like, oh, guys, there's this correlation. The more higher degree that you have, the more money that you make. Well, here's why I disagree with that. It's because think about the vast amount of millionaires in America. Who are they? The millionaires in America? Who are they, guys? Who are
real
they?
estate.
Real estate.
Entrepreneurs.
Yeah. Entrepreneurs. Thank you. Right. Yeah. So a majority of millionaires in America, the people that make at least $1 million a year, the people that are most valuable, right? The small business sector employs 60 million people in America. That's 1/3 of the entire private sector job market in the United States. 60 million people created by small business, by guys like me, you, Sam, right? We're all in this together,
Thanks
right? Nick's like, thanks again, guys, right? 60 million people. The vast amount of millionaires in America are small business owners. Guess how small business owners collect their income? Do they collect it through their own personal name or do they collect it through their business?
Corporations, man.
Through corporations,
baby.
Because we're smart, right? Because we get deductions, we get liability protection, we get, tax write-offs, right? We get depreciation because we're smart, right?
Hey, Nick, someone says we got to bump up the volume. So
increase the volume in the studio. Here, I'll just put my mic. But here's the point. Here's the point that I'm trying to make is that if you're using that statistic, well, guess what? That statistic is irrelevant, right? Because if you put in corporations, entities, LLCs, that number changes. Right.
Yeah. So that number. So that's right. So the graph is far skewed. Because here's why. At the end of the day, on our personal tax returns, Daniel and I, it actually looks like we're almost making squat.
We make nothing.
We make nothing on paper.
Make nothing on our personal.
All of our money is being captured in our corporation through our LLCs, right? All these legal entities, and we wash it down, right? That word, right? Wash it down with expenses and. So that accurate, the chart that you get seen in high school and middle school saying, oh, you got to earn a college degree. That's correct if you're a W-2 employee, right?
Yes.
That is, in fact, correct.
If you want to be a doctor, engineer, go for it. Go for it.
But where's the number that accounts for people who are on 1099, who are business owners?
Exactly.
They get paid dividends. So, and these guys that are in that own corporations like Daniel and I mean, we're playing the millions.
Yes.
Right? We're playing the millions, and those are not being accounted for in the chart. So the chart is disproportionately, it's almost like a chart just for the rest of the 99%.
Exactly.
Right?
Well,
There's no, they
well,
don't
not even,
count.
like even 70%.
They don't even count the top 1%'s income. Because if you add the top 1% income into it, now you're going to get a little bit more of a flatter,
it increases
chart.
The averages.
Right. But now you're only talking about the lower 99%, right? That's statistically speaking, that's a very bad data analysis, because if you're really going to play in a fair level of, well, let's track everyone's result, including the top 99%, then you also have to factor in the fact that the way that the top 1% make their money is through corporations, and there's different laws that allow for that. So, but that's our train of thought.
Well, here's how real quick, because I want to hit this, right?
Yeah,
so let's talk about student loan forgiveness.
Yeah.
So the student loan market is $1.5 trillion right now, right? And to kind of put that in context, by the way, the U.S. tax revenue, right? So the U.S. government's revenue for 2019 was $3.5 trillion, right? So you're talking about corporate taxes, you're talking about income taxes.
Yeah.
On a wide range, it's $3.5 trillion, right? So $1.5 trillion is a lot. it hits the bulk. But let's talk about how it affects the economy. Let's talk about how it affects the housing market. Let's talk about how it affects everything. Because if you do the forgiveness, you can't do it all in one. There's no way. It's going to hurt the securities market because guess what? Think about how many hedge funds, think about how many just funds in general, how many securities are backed by the student loan. The people who drafted up these student loans are very smart, right? It's amortized debt. It means that we can never get underneath them.
Yeah.
Think about the amount of people that we know. And Nick, you're probably closer to the age where you'll get this more than Sam and I would, right? Because I mean, Sam, how long has it been since you graduated college?
4 years.
4 years, right?
I think.
So it's not a long time.
No.
Yeah.
Right? So for me, I mean, I dropped out 4 years ago. So for me, it hasn't been a long time. But Nick, when did you graduate college?
Oh gosh, I'm dating myself. 2010.
2010. Okay, so it's been 10 years now since you graduated college.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick.
Yep.
How many people do you know, Nick? And be honest with me here.
Okay.
Right? Be honest. How many people do you know, Nick, that have been paying their student loans for the last 10 years and yet have hardly made a dent on their principal?
I would say most, if not all.
Most, if not all, right? And
Yeah.
that's the way, I mean, we talk about this on the channel, right? Sam, you just recorded the 2021 version of how to pay off your mortgage.
Which hasn't released yet. Which, by the way, if you guys want to learn how to pay off your mortgage faster, I am hosting a training on December 8th, Tuesday, where I'm going to show you how to pay off your mortgage in 5 to 7 years on average. That is, again, the link is down below in the video description. You could just register. It's a free training. It's free knowledge that I'm going to be doing live on Zoom. But back to your point.
Yeah.
Daniel,
So Jitka made a good comment. And he's talking about. Oh, I'm sorry. Kevin made a great comment about the CNBC default cascade. Okay, so I'm gonna get to that because it actually ties to everything, right? So imagine if you had these securities backed by student loans. Well, guess how these funds and investment vehicles work? It's not just, you don't just invest in securities that's backed by student loan. You also buy into securities backed by mortgages, backed by commercial mortgages, backed by bond. And there's so many in type of these vehicles and these tranches. You have so many things that's backed by you have certain securities backed by different corners of the economy, right? If you forgive the student loan in its entirety, $1.5 trillion, which sounds like is what Joe Biden wants to do, right? There's twofold. There's a good side. Everything is a double-edged sword, right? Even the AOC New Green Deal that a lot of these Democrats were excited about. And don't get me wrong, as much conservative as I am, as Sam and I actually believe in climate change, right? I will say that. But I think they did the World Economic Climate something industry, Nick. They did a study. They said that if AOC wanted to complete her Green New Deal, it would cost in the next 5 years $93 trillion.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous number.
To do everything that she wants to do in that new Green Deal over the next 5 years.
You can't government spend your way out of innovation. You just can't. You can't government spend the way you so you know what? Let me just side with AOC for a second, okay? So if we are going to propose any of the change that AOC is proposing, which by the way, AOC is a congresswoman, Alexandria Ortiz.
Ocasio-Cortez.
Yeah, I can't even say all that name. But in all seriousness, guys, if you want to enact an actual change, you gotta lead with entrepreneurship. And I know that sounds hokey. I know that sounds cheesy.
You make a good point. You gotta
cheesy.
You gotta privatize the market.
I know, but that sounds cheesy. But here's how, in a practical sense, it will work. In fact, I don't know why this isn't being talked about enough. I mean, I care about the environment, sure, but I'm not one of those guys like, we're doomed in the next 2 years or whatever, right? That's not me.
Al Gore.
But in all seriousness, there's a company in Canada. What they're doing is they take carbon monoxide, and they're using carbon monoxide as fuel. Or it's actually carbon dioxide. Sorry, I'm not a chemist. They're taking carbon dioxide, taking carbon in general, and they're somehow figuring it out how to generate electricity from it. So think about this for a sec. If we are worried about carbon emission, if we are worried about the amount of pollution we're creating, think about using pollution as a way of powering our cars, our houses, right? So there's a company in Canada that's working on this. They have a working prototype. And I don't understand why they're not getting promoted as much as I would imagine. Because if this company does provide a solution to where it translates carbon into energy, that's an amazing innovation.
Let's put another example. Look at the space industry.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, we're investing in the space industry right now. But Elon Musk, in the course of 5 years, have made a reusable rocket and has made creating the rocket 5% cheap, equal to 5%. So meaning that if NASA spent $100 million on a rocket, he did it with $5 million.
Yeah.
Right? He did it 5% of the cost of NASA did.
government is super inefficient, man.
Oh,
Super
yeah,
inefficient.
super.
Yeah, Nick and I know.
I know very well.
I remember one year when and I won't say the unit name because I don't want to put the unit in jeopardy. And I'm probably not allowed to share classified information as far as accounting practices in the military. But I remember one year where our unit had to spend, we had a certain budget. And we were under budget, which meant we were in a corporate setting. We were doing really well,
Right.
If you're in a company that's you're under budget and you're spending less money to run that company, you're doing really well. Well, color me surprised. Our unit decided to say, "Oh, we're under the budget. We got to spend more money."
Yep.
And the logic behind that is, well, if we don't spend as much money this year, they're not going to give us the same amount of budget next year. So they should be awarded for that, for being so efficient.
Dude, I could write a whole book on government spending, from being in Iraq, being in Kuwait, being in all these like really high speed units.
Yeah.
They're like, oh wait, we got to spend more money because we're not going to get that budget next year.
Here's the thing. I mean, time and time again, we've seen historically that privatization of certain industries makes not only things much cheaper, much more efficient, but they actually go farther. Think about, I mean, what Elon, and I want to use this example again because it's so perfect. It's so perfect. How long has NASA been around, Nick?
Since after World War II.
After World War II. So you're talking about 1945?
40, well, if you got to track the buffer rate in there too.
Sure.
48.
So let's just call it 60 years.
Okay.
60 years before Obama really kind of just shut down NASA, right? So 60 years. What Elon Musk has done in the last 5 years is more than what NASA did in the last 60.
I believe that. I can believe
it's
that.
incredible what that guy has done. They have launches every week. You know what I mean?
I believe that.
Back in the day when you had a launch once a year, everyone was like huddled around the TV, right? We were like, oh my gosh,
it's a big deal.
Mommy, are they gonna make it? Right? Which they didn't. But in all seriousness, like he's done it in 5 years. So privatization has gone extremely more efficient. Okay, but back to the student loan thing. I am a firm believer. Listen, like if you sign on a sheet of paper, then you're going to pay back this amount. I do believe to a certain degree you should be responsible to it. Now here's the other end of the spectrum, right? The other end of the spectrum is a lot of the people on the other side, because we need to talk about both sides here. We're not just a one-sided show here, right?
Yep.
But the other side says, well, you're going to lower the debt-to-income ratio for the masses, for your millennials. That's going to increase home ownership. That's going to increase consumer spending. That's going to increase a lot of consumer confidence for these people to invest it back into the private market, right? So that's point number one. In my opinion, are there better ways you can do that? Yes, absolutely, right? Because I think the student loan industry went through the same thing the medical industry went through for the last 10, 15, 20 years. Think about how much more expensive surgery is today because of the health insurance, the health insurance industry, right? I mean, it's ridiculous, right? I mean, dude, how much did our tuition go up while we were there? In college,
it was definitely. I think it was more like 4 or 5% year over year.
Year over year,
it was insane.
That's a good investment.
And that's not a factual statement, by the way. That's just like what it appears to be.
Right. Well, here is the actual factual statement. Is that I remember 3 years in a row they raised it $2,000 every year in tuition. I remember that. I think between my sophomore and senior year they went up $2,000 every single year. And I'm not saying where we went is a bad school. We went to a great school.
Yeah, we won't mention the name because we don't do free publicity.
Yeah, but we went to a great school. I thoroughly enjoyed my time at the place that we went. Yeah. Right. But I will say, however, they're doing something very similar to what the medical industry did for the last 15, 20 years, is they increase the cost of goods. Why? Because they can get away with it. Because the consumer is, I don't want to use the word deceive, but I'm going to use the word deceive. Because they deceive and they persuade the consumer to think that their product is a legit, essential necessity.
Well, and the problem with that also is that there's no true cost of the college education because obviously government's giving out free loans to everybody. Here's the problem. Like if you put it this way, right? And this is so true with housing market as well. The moment you start loosening lending restrictions, right? If everyone can qualify for a loan, why set a price for it? Why set a price for it? Seriously, like if you can get $1 million loan, why not charge people $1 million?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, and that's without checking credit score. That's checking without checking income. This is not even based on merit.
But think about what the masses do. Like the thing about the people who are genuinely not financially educated, they never think past 30 days.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the biggest key differences between the people who are rich and poor. It's not luck. It's not luck. It's never luck. I'm sorry to tell you.
Yeah.
Right. But luck is just when preparation meets opportunity. You didn't prepare. Let's just be real. But the people, like the 90% of people, especially our generation, right? Yeah. The millennials, we don't look past 30 days. Yeah. Think about everything we teach here at the Kwak Brothers YouTube channel. It's always long term.
Yeah.
It's always long term. right?
Yeah, it's just sad to see, like, you can get a student loan even if you were a C student or an A student.
Oh yeah.
Right, it's government backed, right? So banks are, in fact, most private banks don't even offer student loans anymore. It's 98%, something like that. Yeah, I'm not, you can fact check me, Nick, but it's like 90+% federally backed student loans. We don't see the days of privatized student loans anymore, and that just goes to show you.
Yeah.
That just goes to show you this is a bad business model that hurts the consumer in the long term.
I think if you have loan forgiveness, it's gonna kill the securities market.
Oh, that and also inflation.
Because think about this: if you forgive, if you start a loan, so let's say you do it slowly.
Yeah.
Right. Let's say Joe Biden watches this show.
Yeah.
And he's, you know what? I'm gonna listen to Daniel. And
Here's the
Daniel.
deal. Yeah.
All right. Here's the deal. Where's that little?
Come on,
right?
man.
Come on, man.
But but here's the thing. All right. I think if you have it slowly, right, like a phase 1 type of loan forgiveness program, you're gonna kill the futures market.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna kill it.
Yeah, because
people
everybody knows.
People knows
right.
what's coming.
Yeah,
right?
everybody knows what's coming. Yeah.
I want to address this comment, right? So Kevin said Trump loved corporate socialism. Robert said Trump called for negative interest rates. So by the way, the only reason why Trump called for negative interest rates, right? Because I know there's a discussion happening in the comment section about negative interest rates. The reason why Trump called for negative interest rates because he's trying to compete with foreign currencies that are charging a significantly lower rate than we are at the United States.
Right.
Key player is Japan, right? If you look at
Japan had a negative interest rate.
if you look at the interest rate that Japan has, I don't know if they went negative, but I know they were at 0 for a very long
Well,
time.
they were negative back in the 90s.
They went back in the 90s. So
Yeah.
I know it has happened, but I'm talking about the last 5-10 years, right? With this currency battle that's been going on. But I mean, that's the only reason, because he wants to keep the U.S. dollar at a certain par, a certain minimum. Which, by the way, guys, I don't know if you knew this, but right now in 2020, November of 2020, 21% of all currency in circulation right now, when it comes to the U.S. dollar, was printed this year.
Oh my gosh.
Did you guys know that? I saw that article today.
That's kind of scary because think
Jeez
about all those
Louise, man.
cartel houses down in Mexico with like money in the walls. You know what I mean? Let's bring that money back.
Yeah, I don't know the validity of that research because you're right. How do you track that money in Mexico? That's you know what I mean.
Yeah, the
That's
black
not-
market money.
You can't track that
Yeah,
money.
but there's a lot of it.
Based on what they can track, they're saying that 21% has it was printed this year,
That's crazy.
which
It's insane.
is good and bad, right? Because inflation hasn't been over 2%
In a while.
In a while, right? I don't
Since
remember,
the 80s?
I don't remember the certain year, but it's
80s was bad.
But Jerome Powell said they want to keep it at 2%. I think July of 2020 it was at 1.54, and then year over year we are like at 1.56. So I mean, he said we're trying to keep it at 2%, but 21% that's crazy. You know,
Yeah,
come on,
makes
that's not a
sense.
small number.
That's insane, man. That is pretty. That just goes to show you this is insane.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've had a pretty good conversation about student loans. Of course, we can go hours.
I could write a book on student
for
loans.
sure.
And I
We
want to
can go
make
for
just
hours.
one point before
Yes.
we move on, if I can be so.
Yeah.
yeah,
Good,
you're
man.
allowed to do so as our.
Oh, thank you, thank you,
as a
thank you.
producer.
So, no, I know we talked about like high performing students getting certain ways, stuff like that. What about the low performing students? Because you're talking to one right now. I think I had a 2.5 when I graduated.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I had a 1.9 GPA in college.
Yeah, and so I unfortunately got roped into one of those for-profit schools.
Yeah.
So I went to an art school that was like, hey, we'll I mean, they fudge their job numbers, all this other stuff, but that's for another topic. But what do we do for those people who are, I mean, that when you're low, I just feel like when you are not a high performer, you're more susceptible to being taken advantage of, as far as at least for the student loan stuff, because you're given an
Maybe.
opportunity for not doing well. You're still given an opportunity, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're street smart.
Eh,
You know, like I would say I'm street smart. I'm more street smart than I am book smart. By
Yeah.
far.
yeah.
By far.
Yeah. Same. I mean, same here. But
Yeah,
I
for
just,
sure.
but I mean, again, I was only an 18-year-old kid, right? It was like, I didn't really have a future, and if I didn't go to school, I don't know what I probably would have joined the
Yeah.
military, but this was like 2006.
Well,
so.
maybe you also have to consider the idea, like the very fabric of this very notion that you have to go to school when you turn 18.
Right.
I think is just stupid.
Yeah,
I wasn't-
I could choose different words for it, but
Yeah.
like the fact, like who decides that you have to go to college at 18?
I mean, that's just what's
You know what I mean?
spoon-fed
Like, who-
to us throughout high school.
Right. And who decides? Like, why not delay that for a year or two?
Yeah,
when
well,
you
they
pick up some
also
work experience.
they also
right?
did a very good job at pivoting what college offers, because remember when we were in high school?
Yeah.
10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, the main sell for college was, hey, you get a good education.
Yeah.
Right? That's your investment. Guess what they're doing now? They're saying, hey, it's not just about the education anymore. It's about the networking.
Oh.
That they're pivoting, right? Because
Go to LinkedIn.
Yeah,
because at the
right.
end of the day, college.
Go to-
Hold on, let me tell you. For me, my job, 90% of it is networking, right?
Yeah.
I'm founder, CIO. Like 90% of my job is networking. Besides, well, it's market research and it's networking. I say it's 50-50 and strategy, right? So but networking is a very big part of what I do. Let me tell you right now, the best networkers are the people who never were. I mean, I've yet to meet one person that was super good in school. That's a great networker.
Yeah.
You know, because let me tell you why. Because a lot of people in the comments be like, "Oh, that's BS," right? Let me tell you why. Because when you're an A student in college or A student in high school, you don't need anybody else to get an A.
Right.
Right? You don't need it. And typically, right? And my wife's the same way. My wife graduated summa cum laude in college. She's a very smart girl. She went to a public school in downtown Chicago where they have tens of thousands of students. She graduated summa cum laude, right? She is straight from her mouth, and from all the other people who are super smart, they all hate group projects because they end up doing all the work, right? The straight A students, right? But those straight A students, they're in like throughout college, throughout high school, they all hate group projects, and they're conditioned to do the work themselves.
Yeah.
They don't need anybody else. The best networkers I met, let me tell you, are the C students who cheat. They're the best networkers I met in real life. I'm dead ass serious, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'll admit it. In college, high school, I cheated, right? I cheated a lot. Right?
I think everyone cheated.
Right, I cheated in high school, right?
Yeah.
Like if you ever saw me get an A, the only class I didn't cheat in was philosophy in college because I was actually really interested and I got an A, right?
Nice.
But like I cheated, right? Why? Because I conditioned to work with other people, right? Like even just taking me out of the equation, the people who cheated in high school, college, they're always good at getting the answers from other people. Like that's the difference between like the A student will read the book and take the test. The C student, master of networker, will literally call up the A student and be like, "Hey, what'd you think of that book? Can you give me your insight?"
Yeah, and it worries me that I have to agree because in today's society, like there's no rules. There are no rules in you know, of course there's moral rules, right? You can't go and steal things, right? And that's not what I mean by cheating. But I mean things that are considered economic cheating is happening in business level every single day.
Oh, for sure.
Like
man.
I can steal someone's business idea, and that's just how it is. That's just how it is. Now, of course, I'm a nice guy. I don't go around and take people's ideas and I'm like, oh, that's my idea, right? I play fair, but it's happening every day. It's brutal.
Dude, the
brutal,
most
man.
successful business titans have always stole.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it's
He stole,
brutal,
dude.
man.
Let's
So
be real.
the fact that and I always laugh at colleges that teach entrepreneurship because I'm like, okay,
It's very ironic.
yeah, it's like, come on.
It's a catch. It's like a, what do you call those? An onomatopoeia or no? Not an onomatopoeia. What do you call those? It's a
Oxymoron?
It's an oxymoron,
Thank
yes.
you. Oxymoron. Jumbo shrimp. It's an oxymoron. You know, when you're an entrepreneur, you are literally. I this is what I say. Definition of entrepreneurship is.
Yeah.
But you are literally a professional creative problem solver.
Yeah.
Is what you are, right? And you're in school. You don't. I don't know, man.
You know, it's funny. This is how you really teach business. Teach your students how to start their own university to compete against you.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, man.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, and
That's
if they win, congratulations. You
get an A.
Right. No, not only you get an A, but you actually taught well, right? Because now you actually taught your students how to compete with you, and now, right? It's so I think like I don't regret going to college. I'll just put it that way. I think at the time it was. I think it was a acceptable decision based on the information I had. Had I had the knowledge today, I probably would not have gone. I think I would have taken other options to do it, but
I don't regret it either. Right?
Yeah.
No, don't get me wrong, I didn't network with anyone professionally. Like there's nobody I met in college that helped me get to where we are today in business.
Right.
And I'm not talking about like on a personal level. Right.
yeah,
'Cause there's
and,
a lot of people
were
who
there
helped my
great people?
development.
Were there nice people at our
Absolutely.
college? Yes,
Great
they're amazing
experiences.
people. I mean, super nice people. But there's a difference between hey, we're buddies versus hey, you're someone that I can learn from.
Exactly.
You know, so
like, hey, you got me like connected to an investor or something like that,
Right.
right? Or whatever. You know what I mean?
yeah. So I think in a practical sense, and for anyone that's watching who's 18 or 17 years old, making a decision, do I go to college or not? We won't say, hey, go to college or don't go to college, but I think it comes down to what skill set and value do you want to provide to the economy, right? What,
Yeah, 100%.
you know, what do you want to provide to the economy that also matches with what adds energy to your life? Because I think way too many people work at a job where it just sucks energy away from them, and they're always like tired.
They're
always,
miserable.
They're not happy.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, sure, they get maybe some of them may be getting paid 6 figures, but what the heck? You know, money isn't everything. So you know, Daniel and I thoroughly love what we do here.
Well,
like,
think about the amount of people. And Nick, Sam, you've seen this before, but like think about the amount of people who get their business degree or get their degree in entrepreneurship. They think just because they have that, they're an expert entrepreneur now, right? Because they're 24 years old and they own a hoodie.
Yeah, that
right?
bothers me, but
yeah. but like they go out and start a business. They get punched in the mouth by the market, and they're paralyzed. They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Think about the amount of people we meet, right? Like you and I, we didn't get our degree in entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I think here's the tip for all. So if you have kids, if you're a parent or you are a high school student, please pay attention to this. What I'm trying to say before you make any decision whether you want to go to college or not. That in itself should not be the decision. The decision should be, what can I provide to economy that obviously will solve problems. It's going to help people. How can I advance and help the economy by providing the solution that I have, right? Or learning a skill set to provide a solution. And that's another slippery slope. By the time you learn that skill, things may change.
Right.
So you got to be highly adaptable. So before you make a decision whether you want to go to college or not, or you send your kids to college or not, teach them this. How do you read what the people need? How do you know that, you know, building this phone or whatever your skill set that you want to partake on, how do you know that that's something that the masses need? And that's how capitalism works, is you got to find out what the masses need, what they want, what problems that they're experiencing, and building a solution to help that. And if you just do that, financial side just kind of gets taken care of. You don't have to worry about money. But if you do stuff that you love, that adds energy to you, but also adds value to society, there's no way financially you cannot succeed.
Yeah. I think just to sum it up, what Sam said in one sentence is you got to learn how to be valuable. That's it.
Yeah.
It's just simply that. You learn how to be valuable. And it just so happens
Economically speaking.
Right. It just so happened that 20 years ago, having a degree made you more valuable.
Correct.
Today, I'm sorry, a degree doesn't mean jack.
Yeah, everyone's got a degree.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, everyone's got a degree.
When Sam and I hire people in the office, we don't even ask them if they have a degree.
Or resume.
You know what's really ironic? I put this on my Instagram story the other day, but remember when we hired that Harvard grad?
Yeah.
So Sam and I hired a guy who graduated from Harvard. And then we hired, and he did horrible. He was bad.
Yeah.
He was not good. And then like a year later, we hired Kate.
Yeah.
Who's like, I don't want to ask her how old she is, but she's older, right? She's probably in her 60s. Did she go to Harvard?
No.
Did she even have a college degree?
I don't know. I haven't gotten.
Okay, so we don't even know. We didn't even ask. We don't even know whether she has a degree or not. She definitely didn't go to Harvard, but she has done a significantly better job, a 10 times better job than the Harvard grad.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the guy has a doctorate from the Harvard.
He had a doctorate from Harvard.
He's an attorney, and not to you know not to speak bad or poorly of him, but I think it was just sense of part of going to Harvard also makes you, and I'm not speaking to all Harvard grads, but I would imagine that there's a small group of people that are like, oh, I'm a Harvard grad, therefore I have a free ticket for everything.
You got some swag now.
You know?
Yeah, but here's what I say, man. Like, if you're a scrub, you're a scrub.
Right.
That dude was a scrub. I don't care if he's watching right now. Dude, like, you were really bad at your job. What do you want me to lie to you?
Yeah.
And say you were really good and let the next employer find out on it? Like, dude, it was a scrub.
Yeah.
He was a scrub. All right. So, as SKRD said, thumbs up on great job on the reset video.
Well, we're gonna do another video. We're gonna do another video on
reset. That. So thank you. I believe the reason why the reset video did so well is because we said it here on Friday, we released it on Monday, and people went and checked it out. Thank you guys so much. Now do it again.
Yeah.
Right? We're gonna release another video on the reset, and we're gonna tie something else in there, right? So Nick and I are talking. Where we might put in some information on the housing market. We might put in some information on inflation, what we just announced. It's not just going to be on the Great Reset. Right. We're going to put two things in there because we want to compact it, right? Because the Great Reset is nothing unless we talk about what it does, right? Unless the context of what it's going to do.
Or where it came from.
But we're going to release it Monday. What time, Nick?
6 p.m.
6
Monday,
p.m.
Central.
6 p.m. Central time.
Yeah, it's 4 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Central. Which, by the way, before we continue, I mean, we're reaching towards the end of our end of our show here. But before we go anywhere, be sure to grab your free copy of the book, 0 to 75 Units, where we're going to show you how Daniel and I were able to hit such a monumental success in our rental property business. Now, do we say, are we the #1 rental property business owners? No. But I think we've done a good job to explain how we were able to go from having 0 rental properties to 75 rental properties as college kids. We didn't have money. We didn't have credit. We didn't have, a rich dad that could lend us $1 million to get started. Guys, this book's going to show you how to exactly replicate what we've done. Not going to guarantee anything, but it's going to show you all the roadmap that you can take and use and work at to achieve similar results. So grab your free copy today. All you have to do is pay for shipping, 0 to 75units.com. That is down below in the video description below, 0 to 75units.com. Grab it today. Yeah. It's absolutely free. Put that in your Black Friday shopping list. And
yeah, exactly. It's on sale for $0. There you go.
Right, there you go.
Guys, in all sincerity, let's kind of go towards wrapping up to me. But Sam and I were thankful for you, right? The Thanksgiving spirit. We genuinely are, right? The fact that there's 80-something people watching right now, it's awesome. Right?
Yeah.
We get to just have fun. And that you guys can participate with us in the discussion. So all in all, we're thankful for you. Please don't forget to like
and
this
subscribe.
video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, because Sam and I we love putting out free content, right?
Yeah.
That genuinely helps you guys. I mean, there's no agenda here, right? We're not, you know what I mean? But we're just trying to help as many people as we possibly can. Which, by the way, is why it was my decision to make this book for free, right? We could have charged $15, $20 for this book, but Sam and I had a discussion. We decided we don't want to do that. We just want people to pay for shipping, because at the end of the day, if you don't pay, you don't pay attention, right?
Right.
So we made it for free on our end, at least. We don't make money off the book, but we genuinely want to help you guys.
Yeah.
Again, thankful for you.
Yeah, the shipping company makes a ton of money with those, but in all seriousness, guys, well, let's wrap it up with some announcements as what's happening on December 9th, I believe, is what it is. Yeah, so December 9th, we're going to be launching a brand new show. We're super excited for this show because not only are we going to continue doing our Friday morning shows, but we're going to do a show on Wednesday night called The Closing Table. Now, this is really exciting. Think of it kind of like Shark Tank in a way, but for real estate. So if you have a real estate deal, maybe you want to look at buying a rental property, but you're really unsure whether the deal is going to be profitable or not, well, bring it to us, and then we'll be more than happy to analyze it, and it's going to be turned into a show format.
Yeah. Well, so here's the spiel, right? So it's going to be hosted by myself and Sam, right? And we're going to have 2 contestants in every show. They bring us the deal. They give us the details, the backstory of the deal. We give them advice on how the deal should go. But if it's a good deal, we're going to promote it to potential people who are watching, right? It might be investors, it might be vendors, contractors, right? And the people watching, right, I'm going to say, hey, I give the Daniel Kwak stamp of approval, right? You go out, you should do the deal, right? People who are watching right now, contact this man or woman and, invest, work with that person. It's a good deal, buy into it. If it's not a good deal, you will be officially Kwak blocked, right? That's the term that we coined, right? Do not steal it, right? But if the deal is not good, it is Kwak blocked, meaning that I recommend you do not do the deal, or you change it up somehow, and you shouldn't do it, right? But it's pretty much a great way for you guys to see real life how I analyze deals, how deals are to be done, and we're gonna have some fun. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be happening every Wednesday, released at 6 p.m. It's going to be awesome, right? It's not like super long. It's only 20, 25 minutes
25
long.
minutes, yeah. Just pretty typical for a show, right? You watch an episode of whatever show, it usually is about 25 minutes.
Commercial free.
Commercial free as well. Yeah, unless, you want to buy the book. But anyways, let's go and wrap up the show. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you guys. I know it's hard to jump on a show or YouTube the day after Thanksgiving. Maybe you guys are shopping. Maybe you guys are not. But with that being said, guys, love and appreciate all of you. We'll be back next Friday. As always, we'll have a content ready for you, some talking points. We'll have some conversation. Today was fun. Today was great. I think we did a great deal of talking about student loans, our college system. We'll do more of that. If you want to see more of that, definitely subscribe to our channel. We're going to do this conversation every Friday. And then Monday and Wednesday nights, we typically release some content for you guys to check out and enjoy. So,
thank you guys. Subscribe, like. We love you. Happy Thanksgiving.
See you guys.